Abatacola and Ferrari discuss everything. With Matt Abatacola.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
I'm sorry I ruined your New Year's Eve party. She tasted like cigarettes.
And Jason Ferrari.
I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Two complete nincompoops with microphones and access to the World Wide Web. Presented by Mickey Finn's Brewery in Libertyville, Lake County's oldest brew pub. Now, here are your hosts for this shit show, Abatacola and Ferrari.
Hello there, podcast friends, and welcome into another episode of Abatacola Ferrari Discuss Everything. He's Jason Ferrari. I'm Matt Abatacola. This is episode number 39. It's called Tickle Pants. We're glad to have you along for the ride. Thanks for downloading and subscribing to the show and being a part of what we do. Again, this is Abatacola Ferrari Discuss Everything. It's our podcast, our weekly look on life and things in general and the happenings in our worlds. And we share them with you and hope that you are entertained. And again, thanks for telling your friends, neighbors, coworkers, family members all about the show. We do appreciate being a part of episode number 39, Tickle Pants. We're brought to you by our good friends at Mickey Finn's. MickeyFinnsBrewery.com is how you check them out. Live music every Friday and Saturday night. Great food and, of course, the best beer in the world. They are the oldest brew pub in the great state of Illinois. You can connect with us on social media as well with the show, AFDE Show. That's at AFDE Show on Twitter, Facebook.com/AFDE Show, and email us, AFDEshow@gmail.com. Jason is up all night going through the emails. Did you even sleep last night, or did you?
It's all I've been doing.
It's just emails, right?
Just emails. Yeah.
So keep them coming. It keeps him busy. He certainly has nothing but free time in his life, so take advantage of that opportunity and email the show at afdeshow@gmail.com. Hi, Jason. How are you, buddy?
I'm all right. It's
happy Sunday morning to
yes,
you.
it is. It is 8:13 on Sunday morning.
It's not the first time we've done an early weekend show, but I think this might be the earliest time to record.
I don't think. Yeah, we did it early Saturday once.
Yeah.
Actually, no. You brought McDonald's breakfast.
McDonald's breakfast. Today it was Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes.
Not only does the world run on Dunkin', but this show does as well. Though you're an iced guy. I'm a hot coffee guy.
Yeah.
You don't do a hot coffee at all.
No.
You never even have you? Have you ever tried it?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay.
I don't really like hot beverages at all.
I like hot coffee. I do. Although I've been trying to drink less.
Yeah. I've been taking that what is it? Trim?
The trim? Yeah.
But
is that helping?
I don't know.
Energy? Well, I mean,
it doesn't give me like that
jittery stuff
that I thought was going to happen though.
Yeah. Well, it's all natural, so it's not going to.
Right.
Yeah.
But I still like I was like, should I have caffeine in addition? Yeah.
I think
I still
be
need
fine.
it. Yeah, I'm good. I still need caffeine in addition to get like the brain functioning.
Yeah, I know there are different studies out about like coffee and a cup of coffee is good for you or whatever, but I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to feel like I need to wake up and have coffee. And I got to the point like about a week and a half ago where I woke up and I'm like, God, I got to get a cup of coffee. So I'm like, nah, you know what? I'm done. So I ran out of coffee and I haven't bought any since. And it's fine. I just get up and do my cardio for life and I get a juice maybe going. I have a tomato juice. I've been buying V8 instead and having that in the morning. But
seriously?
Yeah.
Just regular V8?
Yeah, I love V8.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You like tomato juice or?
No.
Really? Okay.
Well,
I do. I enjoy yeah.
I can't say I dislike it. I just don't ever have it. You know what I mean? Like I don't even
bloody.
Yeah, and I don't even do that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not much
I could not tell. Well, but I used to all the time.
Okay.
I used to all the time. I couldn't tell you the last time I had a Bloody Mary though. Like it's not within the year.
Oh,
like
really?
No.
We went a couple weekends ago. We drove up to Mars Cheese Castle,
right?
Because it's not far for us, and we kind of made it a point to go up there to get some New Glarus Spotted Cow for Crystal's mom. That's like her favorite beer, and she's not much of a beer drinker, but for some reason she just wanted to have a case in the house, and for driveway beers or whatnot. On Fridays, neighbors come over, and she wanted her own beer to keep in the house fridge. Now, her dad keeps all the Miller Lite and stuff in the garage fridge when people come over, so she wanted to keep one for herself. So we were just sitting around doing nothing, so we like volunteered. We're like, hey, we'll go up there and grab it for you, and went to Mars for Bloody Marys too. They do. I mean, it's a typical, average Bloody Mary, and there's nothing secret about
Right.
it. You know, they do freshly ground horseradish and the Worcestershire and regular tomato juice. It's a regular, but it's as good. It's really good, and having it handmade each time when you order. And dude's back there busy because the whole bar is full just ordering Bloody Marys.
Yeah.
With a little beer back, but it's good. I love tomato juice and V8 and
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I really haven't been. I think probably the biggest reason for it is I haven't been anywhere like
to get one because you're not
early.
gonna make them at home.
No,
I mean that's like
I've been out. I
I've
don't
done
really
that.
Go to like bars that often.
like on weekends I would have like set out the idea of buying the stuff to make them like I'm gonna make Bloody Mary Sunday morning, getting ready for football.
Yeah.
Just to do that, but like to have the stuff, like I don't have it just sitting around home.
I'm
Some
just
people
not out
always have it at
early
home
anymore.
Yeah.
At all. Like we don't go anywhere.
Go to a bar at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, or noon,
Right.
even like when I would have them. But yeah, I do like that. I like if I do it, I like a spicy one.
Super spicy. I don't mind spice. I don't mind heat, but some
I don't want to
reason
be sweating.
Yeah, see, that's what I don't want in a Bloody Mary. Like, I don't want to feel uncomfortable trying to enjoy it because it's generally it's like, I'll go a little early, maybe 9 or 10. Try to get one.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't want to be like uncomfortable at like 9:30 having a Bloody Mary. Like, oh my god, this is awful.
Yeah, like I used to go to Patty Long's all the time when I lived across the street from there and get they would do Guinness in it.
Oh yeah, no, I've
and
seen that. Yeah.
Sriracha.
Okay.
It was you had the spice, but yeah, you weren't
Yeah.
like just sitting there just pouring sweat. Like, yeah, wow, what a great experience this is. I'm fucking miserable.
No,
Like,
there
it
was
was just like good spice.
There was it was a dive bar. And I'm not gonna remember what they call the neighborhood, but shoot. Girl and the Goat, that area over there, Haymarket.
West Loop.
Is it West Loop or was it? Okay, is that what it was? That
Yeah,
what it
I think
was?
so.
Okay, well that area, that general area. There was a dive bar over there, and the first time I had a bloody with a stout mixed in was over there, and I've never had it before, and she threw a little shot of Guinness into it as she was making it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, really good.
It's good.
Yeah, and you don't see many places that do that.
Yeah, it cuts it.
Yeah, it does. I like
little
it.
bit.
Yeah, it was good.
Because sometimes they taste they're almost like soup. Like they
It's
get,
like a nice tomato bisque.
yeah, they get too or what's the
Gonna get for you, folks. I'll have a mimosa. I'll do a ice cold tomato bisque in a glass, please.
what's that the cold soup called?
This gazpacho?
Yeah. Trish loves that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so how is this not a Bloody Mary with
In a
or us
bowl?
just eating a bowl of salsa? Like it just tastes like salsa to me. So
I'll take my Bloody Mary extra cold in a bowl with a spoon, please.
and some chips.
Oh, so you want gazpacho?
Yeah.
No, the Bloody Mary,
No,
please.
yeah, gazpacho with booze.
Right. Please put the vodka right on top. Just float it on top and light it on fire.
Yeah, it's too it's too close to soup.
So great. We did the Old Town Art Fair yesterday for a little bit. Kind of had a dual purpose in hitting that. Crystal had some friends going, so I wanted to meet them and got a chance to meet some of her friends, which was nice. And then on the way over there to see them, we went to the Fireplace Inn, which is completely remodeled now and looks very different.
Yeah.
I thought you walked into the wrong place.
It's like clubby.
I really thought, I know it was extra douchey. It was
Yeah.
tough to hang out.
Yeah.
And it was a scene that I do not miss at all. I was watching a lot of good people watching. A lot of paid companionship was there yesterday with some older gentlemen. But we actually went first and had a drink at the Old Town Ale House.
Yeah.
Which was a regular spot for Anthony Bourdain.
I know.
When he was here in town.
I watched that.
Yeah.
I went back and watched that one.
Oh, did you?
And Friday, I walked by. It's because my office is right there. My office is at Sedgwick and Armitage. So I just walked.
Seriously?
I just walked over to North
Oh.
and walked right. I just kind of walked right by it. Was like staring at it from the outside. I don't know. Friday was a weird day.
It was weird. Well, and anyway, we walked in there and they had a big sign and honoring the memory of Anthony Bourdain as he was a regular at Old Town Ale House. The place was pretty busy, busier than I expected, and I think it had a combo of the a combination of the Old Town Art Fair. It's a, easy walk over there. But I also think too it brought people out to have a drink at one of Anthony Bourdain's spots. I really have been fascinated by the reaction since Friday. Friday morning, I'm taking a shower. I get out of the shower and I flip the news on. I just kind of want to see. And I'm not gonna lie. I always turn the news on as I'm getting dressed to see what Trump did overnight. That's always it's always the first thing I do. I'm like, I wonder what he did tonight or last night. And I see on the scroll across the bottom that Anthony Bourdain was found dead in a hotel room in France at 61. And I made a noise out loud. I was just that was of any of the celebrity deaths that I've experienced in my adult life. That one, for whatever reason, that one hit me the hardest. It didn't keep me from going through my day, and it did, and I know a lot of people were pretty depressed about it. It's not like I knew the guy, but that one it's sat with me all day Friday, and it still has been with me in my mind over the weekend
still with
here.
Me right now, even right now. Yeah, I it was like a Robin Williams one for me.
Okay,
like that kind of what the
yeah. Yeah, no, the Robin Williams ones, it got me in a way just because of Mork and Mindy and some of his movies. It hit me a little bit, but it didn't give me an emotional reaction. Where Bourdain, for some reason, gave me an emotional reaction. Like I felt sad all day Friday.
Me too.
I was bummed out with Robin Williams, and I was like, that sucks. But I was like, but I was actually sad. I was actually sad about Anthony Bourdain, because it's weird. And we talked a little bit about it, and I haven't talked. Crystal and I talked briefly about it, but I figured you and I would talk at length about it. Because I don't really know why. I don't know, because again, it's not like I knew him. It's not like I had any kind of connection through the guy with work or whatnot. Had any kind of work event with him. But I felt like he was one of my guys. And that he was a guy that I would have sat down next to at a bar, and we would have been lifelong friends. He seemed like that. He seemed like that kind of guy that if you connected with him, you were going to be friends for life.
I liked his how he was introduced to me. My friend Brian McGoldrick, when he moved in, he would watch it, and I had like read the book.
Was that No Reservations?
Yes.
That time?
Yeah.
It was Kitchen Confidential.
Well, it was, but I mean, he had done Cook's Tour first, and that was on the Food Network, and then No Reservations was on the Travel Channel, as well as I really liked that Layover.
Oh yeah, sure.
The Layover show, where just the whole concept. It was great. We'd like fly in, just party and fly out.
It's funny too. You mentioned him on Food Network, where he is not a Food Network guy. Like he's not someone that you would have on Food Network.
That's what I appreciate so much about like the progression, right? So it's just Food Network, Travel Channel, and then CNN, brilliant CNN takes this gamble,
right?
Because it's the antithesis of their news, of their standard programming. But he just, you could tell the evolution of like him as a person through Parts Unknown.
Yeah.
Because, it was like the underlying thing was still food. Like food was the theme of everything, because obviously that's his deal, right? He was a chef. But he took it to a level of like breaking bread with everybody and people that you would never see. And he would go to areas like he would go to London, he would go to Rome, he would go to those places, but he would go to what would be considered like the lower income areas and stuff, like, and that's the whole episode.
Yeah.
He hated tourist stuff. Like that was not his deal.
Right.
But then it just started to get more to the point where it became a little bit political. He would talk to them about, people in these locations, about what they're all about. He happened to be in London like the day Brexit happened.
Okay.
He's talking to all these people like, it was weird timing, right? But I mean, he made the best of it. But he did that stuff. I just really appreciate like that. I don't know. I liked it because he was like the least celebrity guy.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a great way to describe him. Andrew Zimmern, who I absolutely adore too, and he's the he's been on different networks as well, and he's the guy that you know Andrew Zimmern.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So eats all the weird food. He and Tony were super close, and one of the best, and I tweeted about it. One of the best compliments I have ever heard one person give another is he called Tony. He said Tony was a symphony, and I think that's exactly what he was, because there were so many levels, and he was so multifaceted, and he could talk politics. You saw how he evolved as a person. You mentioned that, and yeah, if he wanted to talk in a political realm with you, he could do that. I mean, he was on Twitter, and he was very very loud as far as what his opinions were and what he thought of what was happening in our country. So he wasn't afraid to just be himself. And I think that's what I appreciated most about him, is that if this is me, and this is what you're going to get, and you're going to get me, and you're going to get all of me. And if that's not good enough for you, if that's not what you want, too bad, because I'm going to be me.
But you watched him change, but
not change, but evolve and grow. And I can appreciate that.
You don't see that. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that other celebrities don't evolve.
No,
and everybody does. Like with the current landscape, it's hard not to.
Right.
I wrote something down that happened earlier this week that. I just even noticed changes in me with like the current landscape. But yeah, I liked watching it. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Him, just he's I don't know.
No, and I don't know if it was because I read Kitchen Confidential, and I got to hear, I got to read about him and what he had gone through, and his demons and his struggles and his own life. And just that openness and that honesty, that I appreciate that. And he just like the least. I think that's a great example, or the great compliment, that he's the least celebrity. He just seemed like a regular good dude. And now all the stories we're hearing coming out about him. One thing that I read that it's come in my mind multiple times this weekend. Is he ran into a little kid, like a 10 or 12 or 11-year-old kid, who asked him what his favorite food is or favorite meal, and he mentioned something about being in Spain, and the kid's like, I want to go to Spain, and he deliberately set up through Make-A-Wish to send this kid with his family to Spain. He paid for the tickets, and set him up at all these restaurants to send this kid on like a food tour throughout Spain. And he told him, he goes, I don't want my name mentioned at all. Like, I am not mentioned. I'm not involved. Do not, and he paid for everything. And now those are the kind of stories that are coming out after the guy's gone, where you just thought he was like a hardcore drug using, kind of care about himself only kind of person, celebrity, and that really wasn't who he was at all. I had no idea he had such a close relationship with Roger Ebert. I had no idea.
Yeah,
I read a blog about that the other day too, on Friday that Crystal sent me. Yeah,
it was in that documentary that came out.
Yeah,
about
that's
Ebert.
what it's the guy who put that together. It was the blog he wrote about that and that encounter where they hung out.
Well, yeah, and they had they had the Ale House connection too, because that was a big. It was just a big writer bar.
Well, yeah, you walk in there and
you see all the
paintings, and I
character.
guess the owner does that.
Yeah.
And the biggest one on like the writers section is Roger Ebert, and he's dead center. You can't miss it. Like you walk in, you go, okay, there's Roger Ebert.
Yeah, he talks about, because they all used to imbibe a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. But
so then, other part of that too that really bummed me out too was Eric Repair. This is a world class French chef. I mean, those two are like best friends.
Yeah.
And he was in France filming Parts Unknown when and he obviously wasn't responding to maybe text or phone calls or whatever.
They were probably
were looking for him, or
shoot,
maybe he was late, and Repair goes to the hotel room, and you got to find your buddy dead, and it's just and like to go through that. Now, and I know there was some some silliness that popped up on Instagram or whatnot, and I don't know all the details of it, but and I don't think it's worth even getting into. But he was a guy that ultimately from the outside looking at it seemed like he had everything a person could want, and you just never know what a person, regardless of what they have from this world, you never know what they're dealing with in the inside. You just never know what it is. CNN, they apparently rebroadcast an episode of Parts Unknown from I think it was CNN. an episode where he is sitting down with a psychiatrist, and he there's like a 10 or 15-minute conversation he has with her, and he allowed them to film it, and he's talking about how he gets into deep amounts of depression, and it just comes on him pretty quickly, and there's nothing he can do to get out of it, and even when he's at a happiest moment, it only lasts for a few seconds, he said, and he just gets back into this deep depression. So we just never know what a person's going through, regardless of what they might have on the outside, you know. So I don't know, as a person, what you can evaluate in your own life or lives of people around you, and what you can take away from this. But if you're not impacted by Bourdain's death, and a guy that looked like he was on top of the world as far as his industry is concerned, and being depressed and feeling alone and feeling like so alone that was the only option left, you just never know the people that you encounter, the people that are around you in your life, what they're going through, unless you invest in finding out what is actually going on in their life.
Right. And that's the problem is, I don't know, I think, and I've this one seems to hit me harder, like we've talked about, than most, but for longer than I can even remember. I've had depression and anxiety issues where, I take medication for various things on and off since the 80s, late 80s. And, I was just thinking about this the other day. If someone just gave me money and fame, like right now, just handed it to me, it's not going to help.
No, it's not going to change it.
Right? It doesn't. It's completely chemical.
Yeah. It's
just it's a thing, and like, thankfully, I've never even had the, I if it ever did happen, like a thought of suicide, it never like stayed.
Right.
But I honestly, I can't even remember or think of a time where I've even considered it. So I guess like I'm, one of the more lucky ones.
Sure. For sure.
And
it's interesting because you and I mean, we've known each other almost 20 years, and we've talked openly about the stuff that you've dealt with, and medication wise and whatnot. You've been always very open with me about that, and it's hard for someone who does it, because it is a chemical thing, and that's just not an issue for me, and it's hard to wrestle with and grasp and understand if you're unwilling to try as a person on the outside of that. I've been blessed to have you as a friend for almost 20 years, and so that has put me into that circle of experience for you, because I wanted to be involved in it. I wanted to understand and know, because I don't. Because like when you just say, I'm feeling depressed, or anxious, or I got anxiety, my brain is not like that, and I don't understand it. Like, okay, well, what happened? And like, okay, so what caused it? Oh,
right.
Nothing. Well, what do you mean nothing? Like, somebody has it. So at first it was like I just didn't understand. Now it's like, okay, well, yeah, that's just how it is sometimes. It doesn't necessarily take an event to cause it.
Life events can exacerbate it.
Sure.
But
sometimes
it's just there.
It's not brought on by something there. Always, though. Nope. Right? It's just there.
No.
That's the thing. And of course, a major event, or even a minor event, can make it worse.
Right.
Or can deepen it, or can broaden it, however you want to describe it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that something has to happen for it to be there. Because, like you said, it's always there. That was something I needed to understand, because I never understood that. That was never something either in my circle of like family or friends that I ever knew about or had a conversation with, because either they never told me, or I never had that until I had a relationship with you. Yeah. So,
I completely understand if people keep that to themselves.
Sure. Like, no, absolutely.
But at the same time, I feel like that's
part of what helps, though.
Yeah. That could make things way worse if it's completely internalized. And
we don't know where Bourdain was, and maybe it was completely.
I know, and think about it. It clearly, like, I heard that it was, or I've read that it was hanging. But one moment of weakness, like, I mean, people don't understand like the amount. And I'm not trying to like make myself feel like some kind of like a hero or anything, but I mean, like. Keeping your shit together is hard. Like when you have
it's hard to do when things are going really well in life. Yeah,
it really is.
Life's hard.
Like, so, but I mean, like, I don't want to get up and like do anything
Right.
sometimes, but you do.
Right.
You know, it's just that kind of thing. But then he clearly had one moment of weakness that like he couldn't
Couldn't get over it.
couldn't get over it.
Right.
Just one, you know, and that sucks. I mean, the guy's 61 years old, and I'm sure, you know, he's been dealing with this his entire life.
Right.
Wasn't maybe aware of like the depression distinction, you know, until like who knows. And he was also an addict, so
Right.
like, and that's something that you can cover and you can mask, and you
Right.
know it. I don't know. It's just it just bums me out. It bums me out so
Yeah.
much because you know he's very layered too. Great writer, great orator. Like just, and you could tell that this guy was not like scripting stuff.
Right.
He was just thinking it and saying it.
Yeah.
Like to wrap up shows where he's just kind of walking and saying things. I'm like, man,
No, extremely extremely gifted, very talented. And then, you know, what makes it even worse and more impactful on our society is, you know, this comes on the heels of Kate Spade.
I know.
And like, dude, you and I certainly are not, would be considered fashion people. We're not setting trends with what we, you know, wear or buy or what we look at or read. But we knew Kate Spade. Like you like I knew the name
By
Kate
name.
Spade, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like I knew that she made bags and I knew that she made sunglasses. I've seen both of them.
Yeah.
And I know she was really well known and famous for her bags and whatnot. But you know, here's a woman with a 12-year-old daughter, just like, you know, Bourdain,
11-year-old, yeah.
you know, 11 or 12, yeah, and it seemingly on top of her game, on top of the world. It's not like her business was dying or she wasn't, you know, was going through struggles. At least not that I know of. Maybe I'm unaware of, but. I mean, the Kate Spade name was alive and well and thriving, and people were buying her stuff. And then it just doesn't matter what you have on the outside, success-wise, or what the world can offer. You just never know what a person's dealing with on the inside.
No, you know, and that one I think I at least like who knows? This is all speculation, but I mean, like, husband asked for divorce and moved out, and that's what.
And again, like you said, it's always there. If you're battling that kind of stuff, it's always there, and then it can take a minor life event, a major life event, just to put you over the edge where it's unbearable.
Right. To the point where, and you also don't think about anyone else that's affected. You know, like it's
no, because I think generally in what I've read too, you start to think, because and tell me if this is accurate or if I'm, you know, completely wrong, but you start thinking that not only are you hopeless, that life is hopeless, that people are worse off for having you in their life. Because you view yourself as not worth living. Why would your life bring any value to anyone else? You know, and it's interesting that it took that turn in the conversation, because some of the reaction that I've seen, and it really irritates me, is you know, people that get mad at those who commit suicide. Oh, you know, you couldn't hack it. You just gave up. You gave up. You know, that's not, you know, you were a weak person. And it's incredibly insensitive to say that, because you have no idea what that person's experiencing.
to say it,
Right, to say it.
to think it, no. To say it, yes.
Yes, to say it, especially about a stranger.
Right.
To someone that you have zero connection to whatsoever. To say it, I think, is incredibly ignorant and really arrogant. Now, it's interesting. Matt Spiegel and I, we talked about this, and I've heard him talk about it, about suicide, because it impacted his family, and on a personal level. And he harbored anger for it, and I understand that anger, because you're talking about a direct connection, a relational connection that impacted you. His anger and his confusion, and even, you know, anger at the person for doing it, that's understandable to me 100%. Mm-hmm. So I just want to clarify, because I don't want people to confuse the situation. Total stranger, and you want to crap on him for committing suicide, you're an idiot for doing that. Relational connection and confusion, anger, hurt, yeah, that's going to go hand in hand. That's something that person then needs to work through. Otherwise, that'll harbor bitterness and anger for the rest of your life.
Right. It is a. I think there is some selfishness to it.
There absolutely is,
especially if. Not like a note makes anyone feel better,
right?
But you know, even if there's nothing as simple as a few words saying why,
right?
Then you just think about it forever. Like I don't know that is something that you can close out in your mind if you're directly affected by it. Like his daughter, you know, what will that ever happen? Will she ever be able to say like, well, he did it because of that? It's
well, you know what?
And the people you leave behind who are the closest to you, like, do they, how do they? I don't know. That to me is the selfish part.
No, it absolutely is, because it is completely unfair and it's completely selfish in that regard to the people you have those closest connections to. Now, those people may never get an answer to why.
Right.
And if there wasn't a note left, then you can say, yeah, they're never going to get the answer why. But I also believe that a person can get healed and move on.
Yeah.
If they want
you
to
just
move.
have to find closure.
Right.
If you're not given it, you have to find
Right.
it. But it's
hard,
still...
but it can be done, and they can seek out the healing that they need to get the closure to move on to continue to be a healthy person. And it's interesting too. There was this obituary that's been going around social media. I don't know if you saw it. A brother and sister wrote an obituary about their mother, who apparently abandoned them like in their younger years, maybe 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, and they ended up growing up and being raised by their grandparents.
Okay.
She moved to a different state, new husband, had kids, whatever, and she died recently. And they wrote an obit about her, saying that she was one of the worst people in the world, and that the son wrote it, and me and the sister aren't going to miss her. She will not be missed. We'll know that she's facing judgment right now, and that the world's a better place without her. And the social commentary that I've seen on it as one of the funniest obituaries, one of the greatest obituaries, one of the most powerful obituaries, and I heard it on
at the very least one of the most honest ones.
Honest,
Jeez.
sure. But I heard it on the Score yesterday. They were one of the midday shows was reading it, and they were having fun with it and laughing, which I think a lot of radio stations did over the country. I heard it the first time I saw it. I felt completely sad for that son and daughter, because the bitterness and the anger that they're harboring, and I get it. You know what? You got crapped on by your mom, and the people that you shouldn't think would crap on you ever are your parents. But it happens all the time to lots of kids all over the world. If that dude and that sister, if they never ever work through that anger and that bitterness, and they harbor it for the rest of their lives, they're going to go to their grave as miserable as a person as they describe their mom.
Right.
It's going to impact every relationship that they're going to have from this point on if they don't work through that anger and that bitterness. Yeah, you know what? You can't control what people do to you, but you can certainly control the response to what people do to you. That dude is on the wrong path. So that obituary might be funny to some people, but I felt completely heartbroken for that guy.
Yeah, I can't say that I generally would put obit and like funny in the same thought process. No. And that's clearly something that they were never able to say to her when she was alive.
Right.
But I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I swear, I feel like just nothing is right in the world this week. Like that, I felt so weird since he did that. I don't know why. I don't know why it's affecting me so much. It's and you, like, this is a weird one.
No, and I really don't understand it, because I knew the guy from TV. And I read his book, but I also felt like I knew him on a personal level, even though we'd never met. I think that's why it impacts me. And I think other celebrities, there's been musicians or actors that people have felt like they've known on a personal level, even though they never connected personally, impacted them in the same way that I think we're experiencing with Bourdain. So it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad, and I walk away looking at his life and the way his life ended in a very similar way to what I talked about. My small group, my youth group that I worked with at church a couple of Tuesdays ago was our last small group meeting for the school season. And I told the kids, I'm like, we, Pastor Matt, and we run the youth group together. And Matt is the junior high youth pastor at the church. He's 23. He's a great kid. I love the fact that I was able to meet him and we're buddies and we can run a youth group together, a small group together. And on the last night, he was like, hey, let's share a few things with the kids that this is the last time we ever get to talk to them. It's not going to be the case because kids are still coming on. But he's like, if this was the last chance we get to talk to these group of kids, what would you want to tell them? And one of the things I told him, I was like, the world can look pretty glamorous and can offer a lot of great things, physical things. And I just tried to encourage him. I said, don't go chasing after it. What's important is being a good person and being the person that you were meant to be. And the stuff that comes along with it is all the added bonus, because it doesn't matter how much you pile up on top of yourself as far as worldly possessions are concerned, or money, or whatever it might be, or things. It's never going to be enough. If there's an emptiness inside, you're never going to fill it with anything this world has to offer, because it'd never be enough. And I think I look at Kate Spade, and I look at Anthony Bourdain. I think they're examples of it. Man, they could have physically had anything in this world they wanted. I mean, money wasn't a limitation. Travel wasn't a limitation. Celebrity wasn't a limitation. They could have had anything they wanted, and yet there was something inside to go along with that chemical imbalance that they were both struggling with and dealing with, that they could never satisfy. Right. Whatever was empty inside. There's something was always missing there. And it's terribly sad as it is. I think it's a lesson for two people here. For the person that's struggling right now that is not talking to anyone, to talk to someone. Find someone to talk to. And for the second one, I think for any young people or any younger individuals listening to this podcast, man, it doesn't matter what you fill your life with, because the stuff will never satisfy whatever it is you're looking for on the inside.
It's true.
Never will.
So on Thursday, we've talked about it on the show. I talk about it with you, the things that happened to me on my commute.
Yeah.
Or things that they don't necessarily happen to me, but they're going on.
And around you, sure.
Yeah. And Thursday on the way home from work, behind me, so I didn't know who was saying who either party was until I turned around, but I heard someone say, "Hey, I don't know if anyone has said this to you today, but thank you for what you do." And I'm like, all right, who's this guy hitting on?
Right.
Always my first instinct, or judgy. Like, I will openly admit, I judge the fuck out of people. I can't help it. It's a thing. So first instinct, I was kind of like that, but then I slapped it down in my own mind and was kind of like, all right, well, with everything that's going on and the way that we close out our show all the time now, with be nice to someone and think of things like that.
Yeah.
I was like, I turn around and it was a girl in scrubs that he was saying this to, and her response was kind of funny. She said, well, actually, I only work at an animal hospital. And the guy's like, I have a dog. Same thing. Yeah. Thank you. I was kind of like, all right, I actually really liked it. And so maybe I'm evolving as a person, because I just wanted to light this guy up for being like a jackass, And then I'm like, well, actually that's kind of cool.
Yeah. No, it is cool.
I don't know. And then,
see, and that's the kind of thing. And that's what, when we wrap up the show and we talked about it at length, a few podcasts back, is you never know what those few little words can mean to that person. You never know what kind of day she was having. Maybe that particular moment she was contemplating whether she was doing the right thing in life. Like, should she be doing this? Should she be doing something else? Is this where she should be? And a total stranger just said, "Hey, thanks for what you do. I just work in an animal hospital. That doesn't matter. I have a dog. I appreciate what you do. Thank you." Maybe it was just that little bit of encouragement from a total stranger that was like, yeah, this is what I should be doing, and
and then that stayed with me the rest of the day, because I was wondering what she was thinking as she got off, and then next stop she got off.
That's right.
And I was just kind of looking at her as she got off the bus, like, I wonder if she's going to be thinking about that the rest of the day.
I guarantee she did.
Tomorrow.
I guarantee she went to work the next day with a different, and maybe she had the best attitude every day before that going to work. But I guarantee that her attitude was even better and more excited and feeling better about what she was doing. That all because a stranger felt an urge and took the risk to say it out loud.
I feel like that's what we all need to do a little bit more of too. If you have that instinct where you're like, maybe it'll be corny, or you got judgy idiots like me who are like, what's this guy trying to get?
Doesn't matter.
No, but if you have that instinct to say something nice, do it.
Do it.
And if you have the instinct to say something mean, don't.
Right.
Like, just I don't know, work with your filter a little bit.
No, for sure.
I'm still thinking about it. It was days ago.
Yeah, and and it's funny you say it that way too, because there are opportunities, like even like yesterday, we're the Old Town Art Fair, and I'd see something, and maybe it was a person who should have been wearing something that they were wearing.
Yeah.
And I could have openly, just nudged a friend and just said, "Hey, look at that." And geez, that's that was unfortunate. But okay, but what purpose does that serve?
Right.
What purpose does it serve for me to say it and then to bring that other
bring
person's
the other person
mind into it as well?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? There's no purpose for it. But that's cool. That's a cool story. And if I can encourage you just to use your words to be positive, because you just our words. That whole saying about actions speak louder than words. I get it because I get the purpose to it, but I don't like it because it minimizes what words are.
Power
and words are powerful.
Yeah.
And you can destroy and you can build up. You can encourage and you can discourage with a few words. It's really that simple. So like Jason said, if it's negative and dumb, don't say it. If it's positive, take that risk. Take that risk and be positive because you never know what impact you're going to have on a loved one or a stranger with those few words. Right. You never know.
Plus, and don't think of it as a risk. It's not. Why is it a risk?
True.
Just do it.
True.
Just do it.
It's so funny too, dude. So we're sitting there yesterday, and we're hanging out with a group of friends, and there was a guy and a girl, and they were way overserved. I mean, like she could barely stand. He was like wobbly and just. I mean, you could just tell they were way overserved. He proceeds to put his hand down her dress and grab her boob. All right. We noticed it, and Box was like, dude, that's not okay. Crystal goes to one of this girl's girlfriends.
Brian was there?
No, Box. Yeah, Brian.
Yeah.
Box. Yeah, he was. I just texted him, and he was like, oh, we're down the street. So he came and met us for a beer. Crystal goes to this girl's girlfriend, and she was like, listen, I don't mean to, butt in or be rude or anything. She goes, but that guy's being overly aggressive with that girl. Do you guys know who he is? And the girl's like, yeah, that's her husband. So why don't you F off? And I was like, wow. I mean, that is like especially in like today where it's like everywhere you go now, it's about the way women are being treated. And I rightfully so support it, encourage it. But here's a woman who takes a risk to go to another woman and say, hey, what I see happening to your friend is not okay. Do we need to intervene here? Do we need to do something? Do you know that guy? That's her husband. Why don't you F off?
Oh, man.
How about, hey, I get it. Thanks for coming over. That's her husband. They're having a great time. Don't be worried about it. How about that? Why take it to that level when it's all and the whole thing and this whole thing about empowering women and
man, that's some hostile shit. Right
it's
there,
very
man.
hostile from one woman to another.
Yeah.
And for what reason? Because a guy's grabbing a woman at a bar.
Yeah.
And do you think a guy's ever grabbed a woman at a bar that's not his wife? Yeah. You ever been out?
Well,
and seen douchebags get really drunk and be aggressive?
That does doesn't necessarily make it everybody else's business, but now everyone else is involved.
Right. You're doing it, first of all, in the middle of
the public
a
place.
Packed bar during a fest in a neighborhood in Chicago. And for her to just be like, F off was like,
yeah.
At that point, I was like, well, you know what? I hope something bad happens to you. That was my first thought. And not okay,
right.
Not right. I didn't say it, but I'm like, well, that's really ignorant. There's no reason for that. I'm trying to defend my girl, too. I'm like, she's looking out for somebody.
A pretty standard reaction to something like that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I felt bad for my girl. She's like trying to reach out and possibly help someone who might be too drunk to help themselves, which wouldn't be the first time something like that's happened. And then to get the response of, why don't you F off?
Yeah.
Like, come on,
man.
Really?
Wow.
I can tell you because no one's listening. I envisioned me grabbing her brown ponytail and smashing her face on the table. I'm like, really? F off? Okay. What do you think of that? How's that? How's your broken nose?
To her, you and her husband, both.
Why don't you F off? Well, speaking of broken nose, I don't know. I didn't even know this was a thing. Clay Matthews having surgery.
Oh, yeah, hit
took
the face with a
line
softball.
drive with a softball in the face at a charity softball game. I had no idea that was a thing.
He and Devontae Adams took over for Jordy Nelson's annual.
Okay. Oh, cool. Okay.
Softball thing.
Yeah, because Raiders.
Yeah,
where
he went to the Raiders,
okay, yeah.
and he got smoked in the face. And had to have surgery, so apparently it was a really bad broken nose.
Now, having surgery yesterday or today or something. Have you ever pitched in a softball game? A slow pitch?
Yeah.
Okay, I have too, and I've a 16-inch and 12-inch, and have had liners come back at me.
I got hit like in the shoulder because I moved.
But you moved though.
Yeah.
A 16-inch game, a guy hit a liner right to my right, and with bare hand. Tried to catch it, and I thought I broke my hand. Had a line drive come back at me in 12-inch, which I caught with my glove. Now, listen, I'm not saying anything here, but this is a world-class athlete.
Yeah,
a professional football player. You and I reacted. You still got hit. I still got hit. I caught a ball. We reacted. This dude took it off the. What are you, drunk?
Yeah.
What are you got your hand tied behind your back?
He's
spitting the ball out of his mouth.
He's merman. Just want to shave that guy's head.
Like, move, dude. Use your glove. What are you doing? You're an NFL football player.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. React. Oh, here comes the ball at my face. Oh, that hurt.
Oof.
He tried catching it with his mouth?
I mean,
what was he trying to do?
That's a rip, man. If he couldn't move, that's a rip.
All right, so you got tweets of the day for us?
I do.
Right.
I went extra oniony.
That's fine. Yeah. So what we do is we take some
depressed.
of the handles that we follow on our Twitter account at AFDE Show, and we like to highlight a few, 4, 5, 6 from the previous week. Share those with you, and then encourage you to not only follow our Twitter handle at AFDE Show, but also the ones that we highlight here.
Our highlighted friends. The Onion being the biggest. First one, woman Googles hangover cure in case there have been any scientific breakthroughs since last weekend.
That's great.
One of them,
that's really clever.
One of them I pulled before the game, before the Golden State victory game. Cavs hoping to avoid Game 4.
Oh boy,
that was just the Onion tweet. This one I love. New study finds running for 20 minutes each day could add years of soreness to life. Very good. the obvious. All right. Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, very funny follow. I hear people okay, so Donald Trump tweeted out, when will people start saying, thank you, Mr. President, for firing James Comey? And Hamill's tweet is, I hear people say it all the time, but they use a different word that ends in K instead of thank.
He's pretty good.
He is really good.
Yeah.
And then this one, I have another tweet as well that I have just pulled up on Twitter. But I wanted to pull something from Bourdain. He tweets out like a lot of really good stuff. Tweeted, I should say. But I like this one because he was very vocal about how stupid the royal wedding was, or not the fact that they had a wedding,
right?
The fact that people give a shit. Yeah, I know, I'm a crank, but the word royals just will never go down easy. Only person I ever felt comfortable referring to as Prince came from Minneapolis.
I saw that tweet. Yeah, I saw that.
The other one's like super funny. He's like, I'm not going to lie. If you're at the royal wedding, I probably don't like you. Oh, man. And then another one, Josh Lyman, our guy,
yeah.
West Wing, Bradley Whitford.
Yep.
Oh, man. He must have been like out partying or something because like I woke up at 6 a.m. and there were a bunch of tweets, and he lives in California. Right. But I just saw this one was funny. In this uncertain, divisive time, I'm hoping this picture of my beloved Otis napping in my fiance's bra can bring us all a little peace. It's a picture of his dog.
Face buried in a bra. That's
yes,
good.
But
cute dog too.
It is, yeah. So those are all tweets that made me laugh in a time this week.
That you needed to laugh.
I needed to laugh.
So follow us at AFDE Show, and you'll see all the handles that we follow and some we highlight each week on the show. Before we wrap up the first segment here, just real quick, want to go over some things in sports. The Washington Capitals, they have won their first Stanley Cup in 40-some years of existence. Whether you're a Capitals fan or not, or you hate Washington, maybe you hate Alex Ovechkin, maybe you hate hockey altogether.
I don't even know any of
I
those
think
guys.
it's really, really nice that a guy of his ability and caliber, one of the elite players in the game, has stayed with one original team and finally brought a championship. I think there's something special about that. So really, really cool for that. I can be honest with you, I saw maybe 4 or 5 total minutes of the entire NHL season this year, and 3 of those minutes came in the finals this year. I am just not a huge hockey guy anymore to watch. And with the Blackhawks not being in the playoffs, I had zero reason to watch the playoffs.
Until 3 weeks ago, I didn't know that there was a team in Vegas until you told me while we were standing in these spots.
Yep. And not only that, but they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, their first season in existence. So congrats to them. But the Capitals are your champions. Then you have the Golden State Warriors, back-to-back champions, a 4-game sweep of the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron James apparently broke his hand after Game 1. Game that they gave away. They should have won the first game on the road, which would have made all the difference in this series in the world. He apparently went into the locker room, punched a whiteboard, broke his hand, kept it hidden from the media. No one knew about it until after the Game 4 loss, that he was playing with a broken shooting hand. Pretty impressive. The guy still almost averaged a triple-double for the 4-game series, though. But now
Is it 3 of the last 4 years for Golden State?
3 last 4, because 3 years ago it was the Cavs. It was 4 years in a row of Warriors and Cavs playing each other. The Cavs, the Warriors have won 3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So it went Warriors, Cavs, Warriors. So
I couldn't remember how far back Golden State started.
Yep, it's a 4-year run, making the finals just like the Cavs. Now the talk is where will
also impressive.
Very impressive. LeBron, it was his 9th finals in a row. 9th in a row. Made the finals 9 years in a row. 9.
This year it was just him too. Actually,
Basically by himself.
He made the finals.
Right. Yeah. He played 5-on-1. So now the talk is where will LeBron end up as he can opt out. He has to let the Cavs know by June 29th, and there are many options where he can go. Golden State being one of them, Houston being another, Philadelphia.
Hey, Boston.
Boston's also a spot. A lot of people here in town would love to see LeBron chase after Michael Jordan and his ghost by wearing a Bulls uniform. I don't think that'll ever happen.
I haven't seen anything.
Oh yeah, there's
Well,
yeah. Well, not that you're looking, that you're seeking it out.
But that,
yeah.
like the whole Jordan thing,
Yeah.
yes, but not that this is even a consideration.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. So right now, all we have left is we have baseball and we have NFL offseason stuff as it happens, and so we get to training camp.
Now they're that's it.
So your championship cities in 2018 have been Philadelphia, Washington D.C., and Oakland, California. All the really biggest markets in the country. Yep, that's it. So, and none of them will go to the White House to celebrate with the president.
Good.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Maybe the Capitals will. I mean, I guess they're right down the street, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not very far.
Be even more hilarious if they don't go.
Right. Well, Alex Ovechkin being a Russian, I'm sure he would probably get the best invite. Right. Why don't you stay over in the Lincoln Room?
Too soon?
Anyway, so that's your wrap up on sports. We come back. We'll take a brief time out. We'll come back and start up segment 2 with our That's So Wisconsin, brought to you by Will's Northwoods Inn. And I also have a sports topic I want to get into, not just specifically about games or breaking games down, but something that it dawned on me over this past week, something that we as sports fans do. And the only segment of life we do this in is in the world of sports. And I think sometimes it's unfair to the athletes and teams that we watch. So we'll talk about that. We also have inspirational story, as well as That's a Wisconsin. It's a Abaticola Ferrari Discuss Everything. It's our podcast. He's Jason Ferrari. I'm Matt Abaticola. And guess what? We discuss everything. This is episode number 39. It's called Tickle Pants. We're brought to you by Mickey Finn's Brewery in Libertyville, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue. Check them out at mickeyfinsbrewery.com.
Somebody asks you where you're from and you answer, I'm from Chicago. Nobody's going to give you a patronizing response like, oh, Chicago's charming.
Hey, Chicago!
More likely it'll be, wow, Chicago, or oh, Chicago. They'll be impressed. Chicago's a town, a city that doesn't ever have to measure itself against any other city. Other places have to measure themselves against it. It's big, it's outgoing, it's tough, it's opinionated, and everybody's got a story.
All right, welcome back into episode number 39. It's called Tickle Pants. He's Ferrari. I'm Abaticola. This is the podcast where we discuss everything, the AFDE show, Abaticola Ferrari Discuss Everything. Thanks for being a part of the program. Hope you enjoyed the first segment of the show. Little different take and angle and conversation than we normally have, but always appreciate a good conversation. My guy, Ferrari. And we're brought to you by Mickey Finn's Brewery. Check them out at mickeyfinsbrewery.com. Fantastic beer, great people, wonderful food, always live entertainment on the weekends, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in beautiful and historic downtown Libertyville. Now, this coming weekend, next weekend, now today for us it is Sunday, June 10th. Next weekend is the start of Libertyville Days at my hometown of Libertyville.
Thursday, right?
Thursday the 14th starts Libertyville Days. And
your hometown.
Kicking off, my hometown. Kicking off the festivities for Libertyville Days is my guys, the Modern Day Romeos. So I will be out there on Thursday night. If you're so inclined for a summer fest and you're near the border of Wisconsin and Illinois, come on up to Libertyville Days and check out Modern Day Romeos. I'm actually be hanging out with my guy Adam Hogue that night. Hoger and his wife Krista are coming out to watch MDR.
Cool.
And hang out, so that'll be a good time. So come on out and we'll buy you a beer and you can say hello to the boys at Modern Day Romeos. But check out Mickey Finn's as well. We like to start out the second segment of every episode, and this is episode number 39 already. We're almost turning 40. Next week we'll be turning 40. So that's pretty exciting. We're having a big birthday party for the podcast.
Next week we'll be turning 40, and I'll be turning 43.
43, yes. We like to start off the second segment with our segment, That's So Wisconsin. We find a story involving the great state or an individual from the great state of Wisconsin. And it's brought to you by Will's Northwoods Inn. They are at 3030 North Racine in the South Lakeview area. Check them out at willsnorthwoodsinn.com. Daily specials, trivia night on Tuesdays. Always a fantastic place to be for sporting events and just hanging out. It is a neighborhood bar, not just a Wisconsin bar, not just a Packers bar. Of course, that is what they love. That's what they highlight, but it's not just for that. So if you're a fan of any team, any sport, any city, get out to Will's right at the corner there of 3030 North Racine. They are a wonderful neighborhood bar with terrific staff.
All right. So the article this week is from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. I was unaware that this was a thing, but apparently it is.
Yeah, no, it's been a paper for a long time.
Yeah, I was unaware that the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel was a paper, and that's the segment. That's it.
They actually have a newspaper in
I
Milwaukee.
was excited to discover that they have a newspaper.
That's So Wisconsin,
right, cool.
Brought to you by Will's.
Thanks, Will's.
What's it?
The headline is the weirdest things you can do. You can get a tax break on during Wisconsin's sales tax holiday in August.
Oh, good grief!
So they're doing.
Why does this make me I immediately just feel bad about some of the things you can get breaks on.
Just wait until I scroll down.
All right.
But yeah, so apparently August 1st through 5th, there's going to be no sales tax in Wisconsin.
Oh.
The items.
Nice.
In addition to some things, most of them are back to school items. So I feel like it's, it aligns with school starting
Very
back
smart.
up.
That's a good thing for families.
Here are the things on the Wisconsin Department of Revenue sales tax holiday exempt items list: wedding apparel, garters, garter belts and girdles, hosiery and pantyhose,
Ew. Okay.
earmuffs,
Hey there.
and athletic supporters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that this wasn't like a joke article. No, this is real.
Like for the start of football? Football's already started by then.
Yep. Call it
interesting.
Call it what it is, Wisconsin. A jock strap. Men, if you're in need, August 1st through 5th is your time to buy. Underwear is elsewhere on the list, which would presumably cover another athletic support item, sports bras.
Huh. Interesting.
So let's just run through that real quick again. Wedding apparel, garters, garter belts and girdles, hosiery and pantyhose, earmuffs, and athletic supporters. So Wisconsin, if you want no sales tax, August 1st through 5th, those are your items.
And I guess if you're a lady listening to the AFD show and you're planning a wedding and you need a wedding dress, might be a good opportunity for you to drive up to Wisconsin August 1st to the 5th and pick up your wedding dress with zero sales tax.
And some earmuffs.
Yeah, earmuffs and a wedding dress. And if you need someone to perform your wedding ceremony, we can do that for you here at the AFD show. Just email us at afdshow@gmail.com and we can work out all the details to actually I can do your ceremony for you and legally marry you if you'd like that. While you're wearing a wedding dress you bought in Wisconsin along with earmuffs and an athletic supporter on your fiance.
And pantyhose.
And pantyhose on your fiance, yes.
Hosiery and a garter.
Honey, I bought you earmuffs, hosiery, and an athletic supporter. So that's So Wisconsin is brought to you by Will's Northwoods Inn, 3030 North Racine. Check them out online at willsnorthwoodsinn.com. Add a little bit of God's country in the heart of South Lakeview.
Damn
that's
right.
Will's Northwoods Inn. I actually bought an athletic supporter yesterday. Needed to go to Dick's Sporting Goods and buy a supporter and a jock and a cup for Henry. Henry needed one for summer t-ball as well as the fall football season. It is required to wear a cup, so we went to the store yesterday and bought him a cup. And man, we got home and tried it on. That dude was in tears. He was laughing so hard because he put it on and he was like punching it. He was punching his cup. He was just tapping it and he thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I thought Jack was Jack was going to pass out.
Jack was laughing.
Couldn't even breathe. He was laughing so hard. It was so funny. And I'm like, yeah, Jack, wait, it'll be really funny until Hank takes the cup out of the pocket that's in the briefs and puts it over your face.
Yeah.
Pretends you're Bane from Batman. Yeah, so congratulations to the people of Wisconsin on that August 1st through 5th, no tax on your athletic supporter. All right, so here's a topic I want to get into and get your thoughts on it. And it hit me this week as I heard some conversation about people evaluating the current Chicago Cubs. And in particular, it happens a lot in a baseball season because the baseball season is so long. 162 games, and you're going from end of March, beginning of April, all the way into November now. If the World Series goes 7 games,
10 months of joy.
It's a long time, and it gives opportunities for fans to ride the emotional roller coaster of a baseball season, and to ride and react to the ebbs and flows of a baseball season. Every team wins 60, every team loses 60. It's the other 42 that make a difference into a baseball season, and people react to every game and to every outing of a starting pitcher. And I think it's extremely unfair at times, because I have heard people make extreme statements about individuals or about teams long before the process is done. So here's where I get into the whole thought of it. Sports is really, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I was trying to think of other areas. It's the only segment in life that we analyze and criticize and critique and evaluate and make conclusions about while it's an ongoing process. And I think unfairly so. Like, what other industry or segment of life do we do that, where we evaluate and draw conclusions while the process is ongoing? Like, we don't go to restaurants and walk into the kitchen in the middle of making the meal and criticize the chef and say, this sucks.
Well, we do it before it even happens in sports.
True.
I mean, it's like
but
speculation.
Is there another industry or segment of life where we
I don't think so.
evaluate the process and draw conclusions while it's ongoing?
No.
Like, you don't walk out of a movie halfway through, unless it's completely terrible or offensive or whatever it might be, but without knowing the final hour of the movie, how it ends and how it might be. Now, I thought of maybe a TV series, and maybe if a TV series doesn't grab you in a first episode or couple, maybe you jump out. That doesn't mean, though, that it can't be a successful TV series. It just means that it just wasn't for you.
Right.
I started watching Safe on Netflix. Crystal's watching it, so I jumped into it. I watched 10 minutes of the first episode and turned off and said, I'll never go back. It just didn't grab me. That doesn't mean that it might not be a fantastic series and maybe even get awards.
Right.
That doesn't mean that. It's just not for me.
For you. Yeah.
But what other segment of life do we draw conclusions while the process is ongoing? Like, I've heard people in 2005. I remember Bernstein said the White Sox will never win a World Series with Juan Uribe as the starting shortstop. Well, guess what they did that year? They went on to win a World Series with Juan Uribe as the starting shortstop. Now, is he a great shortstop? Was he great that year? No. I mean, yeah, you can look at the individual, but we draw conclusions on extreme measures while the process is ongoing, and unfairly so, and particularly in the sport of baseball, because it's so long and drawn out, and there are so many ups and downs in it.
Yeah, I can't think of anything to that extreme.
Right.
Nothing. I mean, and anything more dumb, the fact that is actually a thing. Like, I mean, it's almost a year-long season.
Right. It's 10 months.
Like,
and people evaluate it and draw conclusions in April and May and June. I mean, you've seen seasons in baseball where after the All-Star break in August and September, teams use those 2 months and turn a season around. Football. I mean, how many times have you seen I evaluate a football season in 2 segments. The first 6 games, the final 10 games. Because how many times have you seen a team find its way or its groove or develop things in the first 6 games of a season? Maybe they go 2-4. And people will count them out. Oh, it's a wasted season.
Right.
They're garbage.
Then the switch is on.
But yeah, they turn the switch on. They go 8-2, and they end up being a 10-win season, and you make the playoffs. I mean, how many times does it happen in the NFL? It happens all the time. But like we draw conclusions on analysis while the process is ongoing, and it's completely unfair. And as a fan, it's dumb to do to yourself because then you're entering something into which you've drawn a conclusion of misery and suffering and negativity, and you're inserting yourself into your misery that you've already concluded is going to happen.
Maybe to a certain extent, as I look down at my shirt, college football a little bit because of like the stakes. Like if you lose.
You lose one game. Right. If you're an annual contender, sure.
Yeah.
One game might knock you out of a championship race.
Or out of the top 25 period. Like, yeah.
But that doesn't mean that those players won't be great and won't be a great season.
Right.
It just means, okay, maybe with that one loss, you've just cost yourself a chance at a national championship, which again is a different conversation, but big picture is really dumb of how college football is set up. I mean, that's one thing you could add to the list.
That's why I'm so glad
dumb.
that the playoff system became a thing.
Yeah, it started to evolve, and we'll see how that grows over the years. But yeah, no, that's a great point, because like one loss could change your season or the outcome of your season, but it doesn't mean that your quarterback can't win a Heisman or your running back can't win the Heisman or you can't have a great, and go 13-1. You know what I mean? Now you just might have cost yourself a chance for it. You never know.
But then like that kind of stuff affects voting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
If you don't win,
yeah, and I think that again,
be
that
amazing,
you
but it doesn't mean that your team is amazing.
You add that to the list of what's wrong with college football. You can add that right to it. But I just think there's nothing else like sports in our society that we evaluate and analyze and draw conclusions while the process is ongoing. That's like it'd be like your doctor performing surgery on you, and like 25% of the way through is like, I don't think this is going to work out, so I'm just going to wrap it up here and not finish.
Just leave them open.
Yeah, leave it open. You know what I mean? It's like we don't do that in other aspects of life.
No.
We don't stop cooking a meal and be like, oh, this meal sucks without finishing it. You don't watch a movie without knowing how the movie ends to actually give a actual accurate analysis of it. We do it in sports, and the thing that bothers me is that we put so much negativity and unhappiness on ourselves. It's really all you're doing is making yourself unhappy.
Yeah. That's all you're
doing.
It's causing misery.
The whole topic of Yu Darvish, who the Cubs signed from 6-year deal from the Dodgers. He's had a terrible season. The guy's not pitching right now. He's on the DL, and it's just I've heard one conclusion after another that it was a busted contract. The guy's a bum. He's terrible. He sucks. Cubs never should have signed him. The guy's got 20 some more starts to make this year. He could go on a run of 12-0 in 20 starts. You know what I mean? It's just like, why do that to yourself? Why do we do that as sports fans? Like, why do we allow that emotional roller coaster just to impact us from day to day? God, your baseball team wins, they win 10 out of 12 games, and you're like, oh, we're in the World Series. They lose a 3-game series to a bum team, and you're like, oh, the season sucks. It's over now. Well, no, not necessarily. That's the ebbs and flows of 162 games.
It's completely self-inflicted stuff, too, because
that's what I don't get it.
Like, I've become such a happier football fan since the Bears losing on Sunday didn't mess up my entire week.
Right.
I don't know why I think I just got so used to the Bears losing on Sunday that I'm like, okay, I need to find some other things to be angry about, or I just don't want to be.
Yeah. I'm looking for things to be angry about.
I just don't want to be angry. That's probably a better option. But
I'm open to new things to be angry about. Email me.
So afteshow@gmail.com. So Matt can marry you and you can piss me off.
Well, not me marry you, but I can perform your wedding ceremony.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that too. Yeah. We're just gonna marry you.
Whatever
we're
happens.
Pretending we're Mormons.
Sure.
So we got a submission this week on Twitter from @Bickford82 Justin.
Okay.
An article about poo.
Oh,
surprisingly, and another poo jogger.
Seems like that's a common theme of the show.
It really is. And the fact that these people just keep popping up. Poo jogger caught in act. Picture of a dude bending over with some teepee in his hand.
Oh, man.
It's a story as old as time. A man was taking poops where he wasn't supposed to, and his neighbors have caught him in an elaborate sting operation by hiding in the bushes with a camera. The alleged pooper in question is Brisbane resident, Brisbane, that's Australia?
Australia,
yeah.
Yep.
Andrew Douglas McIntosh, who is national quality manager at a big-time Australian retirement village company and also a member of the Brisbane City Council Board.
Jeez.
Neighbors in Greenslopes neighborhood recently noticed a flurry of public poops on sidewalks and other street-adjacent areas near their homes. One resident, Steve Smith, says his place was getting hit frequently. It's just funny. And it seemed that the regularity of the poops, I don't think they did that on purpose.
No, they didn't.
Of the poops, as well as the presence of toilet paper, he's wiping. That's even better. He's wiping. Indicated a high likelihood of premeditation. They're saying it's a complicated plan to catch the mad pooper copycat in his tracks. Jeez. Wow.
Well, apparently that's a thing, though. I get some people, if you run, it makes you poop. And I don't know why. I've run before and it never made me want to poop. But
McIntosh was charged with 1 count of public nuisance, though neighbors say he's strewn approximately 30 turds around the neighborhood.
I think an appropriate punishment for that is put him up against a brick wall. You let the neighborhood fling his own poo at him like an animal.
That works.
There you go. That's your punishment.
All right.
We're going to cover you in your own feces.
Speaking of punishment, I texted you about this, and I wanted to bring it up. I was talking with Trish about this yesterday, too.
Okay.
I want to talk about all women movie, cast remakes of movies.
So that the topic of our conversation was Ghostbusters, the remake, and also Ocean's 8.
I said I bet Ocean's 8 is terrible. Now, when I bring this topic up and I say this, I don't mean that all women movies are going to be terrible. I mean, it looks like it's going to be terrible. Ghostbusters was terrible, and that's a killer cast. That's like some of the funniest females on the planet.
Right. It's a cast full of women that I love.
But
and,
it's just
they make movies. I want to see their movies. You put them all together, and you're like, okay,
bad.
And that was bad.
Movie.
Yeah.
You know, and this I think goes to a bigger topic for me of like, why do we just keep doing remakes? Like, other than the Avengers movies, like what else is coming out that's not remakes?
I'm
so sick of it. And
they made a remake of a Charles Bronson movie, Death Wish, with John McClane.
Dude.
I mean, like, is that? I just saw it on demand. Was that what? I didn't even click on it. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So wow.
Yeah, I'm definitely not watching that either. But
no, I'm not going to.
But I did see it.
Wow.
No, but I mean, you know, they're redoing Roadhouse with Ronda Rousey. It's like, why?
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
they are not.
Mm-hmm. Why would you do? So, I'm all for, like, why can't
make something new?
Why can't they recreate? Fine, if it's a heist, right? If it's a heist movie with all women, fine. But why does it need to be the Ocean's movie?
Well, here's the problem with that, right? Because like you
which is already a remake.
She doesn't need to be a relative of Danny Ocean. Like they don't like. She doesn't need to be a sister.
Right.
Just put together a cast of great women like you put together and make a heist movie.
Doesn't yeah.
You don't need to. And here's the biggest issue with it, is because the series isn't good.
No.
Like Ocean's 11 was
excellent.
Great. That was a great movie. 12 and 13 were brutal. I mean, absolutely just horrible movies. Why carry that series on? Even though you try to evolve from it and be like, all right, we're going to make it all about women now.
Yeah, I just don't understand why.
Take Sandra Bullock, the rest of the cast, who I'll go see a movie with that cast in it. Even with just Sandra Bullock in it, I'll go see the movie and make it a heist movie about stealing jewelry. Why does it need to be in that series, which is an already terrible series? Jurassic Park was a great movie. The Lost World, the third one, brutal. Now, they revived the series.
World was okay.
I thought Jurassic World was really good.
Yeah.
And on June 22nd, the new one comes out. I'm going June 23rd, taking the boys. All three boys are going to see it. Can't wait to see it. They revived it and carried it along. Now, that's a series that I thought was okay to carry on. You know, they could do some things, but they've made it. They've enhanced it. They made it better. The Chris Pratt has brought the series back. Made it. I think he's great.
Yeah.
But why continue a series that's garbage? Like what are you trying to do there? Like why immediately put that series with Sandra Bullock and that cast into a negative light? Because my first thought was that series ended terribly. Why automatically put them in a negative fashion with a series that I associate nothing but bad with?
Right, and I feel like we've talked about this a couple of times, but I on the show, I feel like the Me Too movement is great conceptually and what it stands for, but I feel like they should be making new things, right? Like it feels absurd to me that it's like, well, you know, if Ocean's 11 it was 11 men, we should do it with 8 women. It's like, no, why do you need to do that? It's already been done.
Right.
You're not doing anything new.
Right.
Like, it's so stupid.
Just put that cast together and make a jewelry
just
heist
seems
about
so unnecessary.
stealing from the Met, and just don't make it in that series. Just make the movie.
I don't understand the it just feels it is forced.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like it's setting them up for success.
Yeah, and what bothered me too about the trailer for it is that, obviously Sandra Bullock, who's George Clooney's sister in the series,
estranged or something,
whatever it is. But it's like whoever, and I forgive me because I don't remember the actress that plays her like right hand person.
Cate Blanchett, I think it is.
Is it Cate Blanchett? Yeah. So she is obviously the Brad Pitt character with her outfits. Like they even made her dress look like Brad Pitt as character's outfits. It's like, really? Just make the movie without copying a bad series.
I know.
Like,
I'm glad Soderbergh isn't doing it either.
Why try to carry on a bad series? Right.
So it's. I guess hey, all women casts, great, cool, but just do something new.
Right. Yeah, that's more than just an all-women cast thing. The remakes reviving things is unnecessary.
That's a separate topic, but I mean that's what made me think of it.
Like John McClane doing Death Wish, there's no reason for it. Just take Bruce Willis and make a new movie.
Yeah,
along the same concepts of it, but you don't need to redo something that's, especially when it was done right the first time. You don't need to redo it. Now, if it was done poorly the first time and you can really make it better, great. I get that. Then I get like remaking something that was done poorly, and with technology today you can make it better. Like if they want to redo the Flash Gordon TV series because you saw the strings on the spaceships floating through the TV screen, sure, then go ahead and do that because you got technology today to make it better. But like to remake something that was done well the first time is dumb. And just you got all the resources and abilities and talent and money in the world in Hollywood. Don't just keep recreating stuff. Make new stuff. Use the fantastic female directors and writers and producers and make a female movie that you want to make. Don't just add on to a bad series because you can. It's stupid. It's dumb. But all that being said, I have a particular woman in my life that wants to see that movie, and I'm sure I'll end up seeing it. So
yeah,
and I'll be able to give you a full report on how bad it is.
Thankfully, I don't have to. I think I am going to. We're going to do date night to Deadpool 2, though.
Lucky.
That's
good.
Looking forward to that one.
I still want to see that. I finally saw Black Panther.
That was one of my
rented it and saw
it. Downloads.
Jack and I watched it the other day when he was homesick, and
I agree with our guy Justin Ray's.
It was good. It was good, but to be. Is it still the number one, or did Avengers Infinity Wars pass it?
I think Infinity War passed it.
So at the time, it became the number one grossing movie of all time, right? Didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was good. I thought the storyline was good. I didn't think it was as good as all the hype that went around with it.
I understand.
So there certainly are much worse Marvel movies. That was a good one, but to say it was the best one, that'd be a big stretch for me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Entertaining, but I
love the story behind it. I thought it was a great character development and great story development, but and to see where Black Panther fits into I thought it was great, but man, I just not worth all that hype to me. I just thought the story was kind of slow at times, even a little bit of sloppiness. The rhinos, the rhinoceroses that I thought that was ridiculous. Yeah. That was like a CGI moment that I thought they could have done without.
Yeah,
and that Marvel's much better than that. So
most of it is CGI.
Michael B. Jordan was fantastic.
He was great.
Yeah, the dude who plays Black Panther is great.
I like Jordan as a bad guy.
Yeah, no, he was really good.
He's good,
badass. And but yeah, just not. Again, I think there are better Marvel movies than that.
I feel like there is a certain amount. While we were kind of talking about the women movies, right? Not a remake by any means, but I like that what Wonder Woman did in terms of like how empowering that was for women. Mm-hmm. Like people said, it was so cool seeing, a female superhero lead a movie. I think that Black Panther, they made it about African Americans and like a big proud moment for them because it's a mostly black cast.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the movie's about that at all.
Yeah.
Or that's what they were like trying to go with. And I think that's what added to some of the hoopla around it, like
no, I agree 100%, and it should be celebrated. It should be recognized for that fantastic black cast that they had in that movie, and from the leadership of putting it on and getting it on the screen. But great,
doesn't make it a better movie.
Correct, doesn't make it a better movie.
Right,
celebrate it for what it was, but I just think that it wasn't as great of a movie as a lot of people said it was. Again, very, very entertaining. I'm glad I saw it at home, and the $6 that I spent on to rent it and see it. But again, better movies from the Marvel Studios out there. But that was a good one, and it had some moments though that I didn't like that weighed it down heavily for me. But that's that. I still have to see Infinity Wars. You brought up Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman series the Wonder Woman movie, one of the best from the DC studios, because most of the superhero movies that DC does are
They're
are
really
crap.
bad, yeah.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're crap. The last one they did with the Justice League, I'll never see that. I'll never ever see that. Yeah,
horrible.
I won't.
Horrible.
When it comes out on free cable, I won't watch it on free cable. And that says a lot about me because I watch anything on cable.
I've watched Attack of the Killer Donuts, and I wish I could unsee Justice League.
Yeah, the ending of Wonder Woman lost me. I just thought that ending fight scene and the ending, I just thought that just lost me a little bit. I just, I thought going up to it, I thought they had a really nice story, that they developed it well. The characters were great. I thought everyone was casted really well, and just the end lost me on it. I just, kind of lost me. The same thing with Suicide Squad. I thought Suicide Squad was great up until like the last half hour, and like the villain and the monster, it was like it turned Ghostbuster-ish, and it was stupid.
Right.
Yeah, it lost me. It ruined the whole thing for me.
I know. I think I was texting you when I was watching it for the first time. It was just kind of like, this movie would have been so much better if it didn't involve like ghosts or like whatever this
weird.
crap is. It was
like,
what is this?
Just like, get a bad guy who's a human bad guy who just has exceptional powers, and let him fight it out.
Yeah.
And then let the good guys win in the end.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, don't make it like,
I know.
like glowing monsters that grow and like are in the subway, and it's like I'm waiting for Ray Parker to start playing. You know what I mean? It's like, who are you gonna call? Suicide Squad. So it's like, come on. But anywho, so Black Panther. I was one of the last people in the world to see it, and it was good. It was good, but not as great as I want it to be. And that's about that. I don't think I've seen anything else. I've watched Rudy and Footloose a few times this week again, because of course they're getting the full runs. And whenever you're looking for something to put on the TV in the background, I always look for something I can identify with and throw that on. Crystal asked me last night about Singles. Did you ever see the movie Singles?
Love that movie. Yeah.
Okay, I'd never seen it.
Great soundtrack
and
too.
Yeah, she loved it, and she was like, we should watch it sometime. So I pulled it up on demand and watched the trailer because I had to rent it, and I wasn't in the mood to pay $4 for it last night. So we watched Game of Thrones instead, and it reminded me of a movie that I just watched the other day that He's Just Not That Into You. Ben Affleck and Jenny Aniston, Scarlett Johansson, and my guy Bradley Cooper,
and Eric, right? Isn't he in it?
Yeah, Eric's in it. Yep, he's in love. Drew Barrymore. Another dude who's been in a lot of movies. Maybe Justin. Who's the dude that?
Justin Long.
Is his name Justin Long? Is that what it is? That's what it is. I thought that was wrong though. And then
No,
Jennifer with a G, Goodwin.
Yeah,
plays his
Jennifer.
That reminded me of what like a modern take on Singles. Watching the trailer of Singles, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, kind of.
But good
Singles
movie with a lot of like '90s grunge.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it's definitely like, and I know that really you really didn't listen to that.
No.
At all.
No,
that kind of
'90s was
stuff.
all country for me.
But it's a really great soundtrack. Like
Okay.
it's early on, right? Like, so that movie came out in I think maybe 92.
Yeah.
So there's like Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains and like
Okay. Well, then I will have to watch it. I just wasn't in the mood for it last night. So.
It's a good movie. It's definitely
Okay.
worth it.
Matt Dillon with
He's
super long,
he's
creepy hair.
so funny.
Is he?
in it? But his band in the movie,
Okay, so that's the hair. Okay.
it's Pearl Jam. Like like Eddie Vedder is in his band.
Oh, seriously?
In the movie.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Like that. So those like those three guys that's Pearl Jam.
All right. Well, I'll have to watch it then. Now you got me.
It's good.
Convinced me. All right. Fine.
well,
I'll spend the $4
Kira
to rent
Sedgwick.
it. Kira
is
Sedgwick's in it. Yeah.
God, I can't think of the guy's name who kind of like fell off the planet. But
Something
like,
Banks. Is his last name Banks, or am I making that up?
The lead.
Because we looked it up last night too to see the cast.
My-
And actually, the trailer for it is so bad. Like the voiceover work is bad. Like the editing of the trailer is
all
bad.
those trailers are bad. From
So
the,
bad.
Like 90s trailers.
Oh yeah, it's
Brutal.
so bad. 1992 film, and your cast is
Chris something. Chris.
Oh, it's a Cameron Crowe movie too.
Yeah.
Bridget Fonda, Matt Dillon, Kira Sedgwick, Campbell Scott.
Campbell Scott. That's it. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in. Actually, he was like a bad guy on some TV series that I think you and I watched. He might have been in.
Chris Cornell,
Yeah.
Jeff Arnett, Jeremy Piven,
Jeff Arnett.
Eric Stoltz, Bill Pullman is in it.
Yeah.
So wait,
Bill Pullman plays a cosmetic surgeon.
Oh really?
Yes.
All right, let's see. Campbell Scott. Movies and TV shows. The Amazing Spider-Man, Royal Pains, Dying Young, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Singles, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, Big Night, Roger Dodger, Manhattan Night, The Spanish, Longtime Companion. That's our relationship. The
Spanish Longtime Companion.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Oh, The Spanish Prisoner, and then Longtime Companion.
Oh, I like that version
the
better.
Spanish Longtime Companion, The Sheltering Sky, Mrs. Parker and the Vicious Cycle. He was in a movie that we watched or liked. Music and lyrics.
Well, it must have been Spider-Man, but no, I thought he was in a series but maybe I'm wrong.
House of Cards.
He wasn't. Yeah, oh, that's right. He was in that.
I don't remember him in that. I don't. And I am when they put the movies in order here. It's like the most recognizable ones that they're in are at the top, right? And you scroll down as it gets worse. I don't know any of these. So.
Yeah, that app is weird.
Yeah, I don't really recognize him either. So Campbell Scott. What does he play in Batman or Spider-Man?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Let me see here. We'll pull up the Spider-Man. I don't even know what he's. Yeah, Campbell Scott. It doesn't even ring a bell to me. I love how Stan Lee is in all those movies. What was the last one that I was watching? He tried to get into a club and they wouldn't let. Oh, was it Black Panther?
Yeah.
And he tried to get in. He's like, I'm Stan Lee, and like, I don't care who you are. No, seriously, I'm Stan Lee. Okay,
yeah,
he's funny. The Spider-Man, the Homecoming, the last one, which I thought was really good.
Yeah,
he plays the old old man at the window. Hey, Virginia.
I love when he plays. They have him play Hef.
Yeah. Campbell Scott is Richard Parker. Would that be his dad?
Yeah.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That is okay.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, now I recognize
yes.
him. All right.
Well, he has gray hair and
yeah.
Yes. That is.
All right, so he's a young kid in Singles here. Interesting. All right. Well, I'll have to go back and watch it then, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good
if
one.
You recommend it.
It's pretty good.
All right. Any other stories? Anything you want to get to before we do our inspirational story?
Yeah, I don't know if useless things for people to be angry at. IHOP changing to IHOB.
Yeah,
and
did they announce what it is?
And the mystery. Well, if it's not breakfast, I don't know what the hell
it's got to be International House of Breakfast.
It's going to be balls.
Right?
Yeah, like it's
the whole restaurant is one of those big ball pits
and
now.
People are just
and you have to sit in
International
a ball pit
House of Balls.
And
I bet you there is a place called that somewhere.
Or they're every food item now on the menu is in the shape of a ball. So they have pancake balls, bacon balls, egg balls.
Yeah.
International House of Beauty. You can get a makeover while you eat breakfast.
Dude, if you've ever been in an IHOP, there's not a lot of beauty in there. That's it's like going to a Waffle House, man.
International House of Busts. And they have like golden busts, like bronze busts.
No,
like,
but only the bad ones. Only the ones that look nothing like the person.
Right.
I would go to that. That'd be hilarious. Oh man, now that you said bust, you reminded me of something. So I think I tweeted this out from our handle earlier this week, but I saw that Maxim's Hot 100 came out and Kate Upton was #1, and I didn't know that Maxim was still out.
Well, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And are still magazines that do Hot 100s, huh?
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
And Trish said, so she won the Boobiest McGee Award. And I'm like, I think that should be something we do on the show.
Boobiest McGee?
And she definitely is the Boobiest McGee.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of better boobs right now than Kate's.
Oh, going back to IHOB, people are angry about that?
No, they just, well, I think people are like, why would you change it? Which I kind of agree with.
Yeah.
Or I totally agree with.
Right.
What's your IHOP? Who cares?
Right.
But no, what I saw more of was the mystery. I'm like, how can it not be breakfast? What the hell else? Like, there's no other serious option.
60 Minutes is going to do a segment on it. What could the B stand for?
Yeah. That was what seemed to be more present in social media. People asking, what is it? Like, really? What do you think it is?
Right.
You know? So, yeah.
International House.
I don't know if you
Blenders.
want. We don't need to go super deep, but the TO not going to the Hall of Fame thing.
Yeah. Has any more come out about why? It's just weird. Like why he doesn't feel like he wants to be there. Or...
I don't.
Yeah.
I just think it's ridiculous.
But if you were to say to me, a future Hall of Famer doesn't want to go to his thing, he'd be on the list of like 3 people I would think of that would do that.
Yeah.
He's just weird. Weird guy.
Just I don't know. I can't
Is he the one who cried about, that's my quarterback? Is that him? Was that T.O.?
Yeah.
That's my quarterback.
Yeah, and he's the one who's like, remember he was like bench pressing in his driveway.
Right?
Like, in, like fatigues. Yeah.
Did he have to like put a report on his back and do push-ups with it or something like
he's
that?
a weirdo. He's a weirdo.
That's my quarterback.
I just think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, yeah.
Really
that's
dumb, and he's going to regret that.
How could you not?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Stupid.
I don't even care. I don't even care what the reason is.
I think I heard Bernstein mention this on his show, and he said that that he's hurting for money, and instead of going there, he's going to have like some kind of party where he could sell it,
like a reality,
and he could sell it like as a Hall of Fame induction party and get sponsors, and he could make millions from doing that. Which if that's the angle, and that's if he's accurate on that, that's a smart take, because that sounds like something he would do. I'm going to forego that and do something more. But he's an idiot, because he could go for the weekend, and then the following weekend have a TO sponsored, Hall of Fame party,
or have someone film him at the experience,
and
or are you
pay
not allowed
for
to
it.
do
I
that?
mean, probably not. Yeah, the Hall of Fame's pretty. They wouldn't even let our Packers guy go to a bar for a year and do autographs. Jerry Kramer,
right?
He could play for the one full year. He couldn't go to like that Packer Palooza event and sign autographs.
Well, but the reason that he didn't do that is because he was inducted. Like, that was induction announcement weekend.
Yeah, but
and the draft.
Yeah, but they also they for like a year they limit what you can do.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So, but yeah, I mean, he could very easily just go to the induction weekend and then have a huge party sponsored by whoever he wants and make all the money in the world he wants the following weekend. Plus, because at that point you're Terrell Owens HOF. I mean, that's more money right there.
Right.
Idiot. But whatever. Yeah, he'll regret that the rest of his life for not going.
I think it's stupid.
Yep.
All right. Inspirational story. This is really good. They're all good, but this one, I really like this. So the headline is, special ed teacher makes good on her promise to give $1 million to her students.
Okay.
Genevieve Villacava dedicated her entire life to her students, and even though she passed away in 2011, she's still managing to give back to them. Shortly after the Dumont school teacher retired roughly 10 years ago, she told district superintendent that she would one day give $1 million to her students. He laughed it off, thinking that it was a joke, until he received notice that she had bequeathed a small fortune to the school following her death. A child of the Great Depression, Villacava refused to indulge in small luxuries. According to NorthJersey.com, she even abstained from buying herself a hearing aid once she started to go deaf in her later years. Instead, she skimped and saved whatever she could until she had eventually stashed away $1 million.
Wow.
In addition to being a frugal spender, the New Jersey educator was also a loving, outgoing, humorous woman who would go out of her way to help her students years even after they graduated. She was an amazing woman who could light up a room just by walking in. Richard Jablonski, who is Villacava's longtime friend and executor of For Will, told NorthJersey.com. She had a smile. Executor, Jesus. Executor. Yeah, he killed her. She had a smile that was unbelievable. She could talk to anybody just to start conversation with them, and by the time they walked away, they would be hugging. I think they did something super cool here too. So instead of just the $1 million going to the school, they put it into a fund, and they're doing $25,000 scholarships, so the money never goes away. Like it's an ongoing investment in her name.
And then they can earn money still as it sits, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a good move.
But I mean,
instead of like $1 million for like a new gymnasium,
right,
towards a new gymnasium.
Yes.
Yeah,
so they
turned
it into a scholarship.
That's awesome.
Just saying, she's leaving a lasting legacy. But I mean, the fact that she was able to
save $1 million,
I can't even fathom. Honestly,
hard time saving $1,000.
Seriously, yeah, I can't even fathom.
That's a special person.
You know what? And
right
I think, and the superintendent, like he said he kind of laughed it off, but yeah, you'd be like,
right.
Who generally says, one day I will give you $1 million, and does or is serious? Yeah, exactly. Wimpy. Yeah. So,
very cool. No, that's good. That's good, and that's the kind of stuff we should strive for in life. What's your legacy you're going to leave behind when you're gone? What impact do you have on the people that are left behind? What do you do? What's your life going to say about you?
So the scholarship is for special education students seeking post high school.
That's great.
So
that's awesome. Good story. Good find.
Yeah.
Where'd you find that from?
Good News Network.
Goodnewsnetwork.org, right? ORG?
Yes.
So if you want to look it up,
couple
go ahead
of
and
weeks
take a
have
look.
not been there from there, but I
Yeah.
went back to Old Faithful here.
Good.
The Executor.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, dude, because, having Game of Thrones fresh in my mind, I just immediately pictured a guy in a black hood with a big axe and puts her head on a tree stump and executes her.
Until she gives him
We're
$1 million.
taking your money. Chop your head off. Execute her.
It's
That's
Sunday.
great.
It's Sunday
Good
morning.
stuff.
I managed to get most of the show through without making a mistake.
No, we did good. All right, that wraps up episode number 39 for us. It's called Tickle Pants. This is the AFDE show. It's a Batacola Ferrari Discuss Everything. Thanks for downloading and subscribing, being a part of it. We do appreciate your continued support. Tell a friend, family member, neighbor, coworker, all about the AFD show. You can find us everywhere. Everywhere that you could download a podcast, it's there. I mean, right? Everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
There isn't a spot left you can't find us.
I don't think so.
So go ahead and do that, and take this moment to give a little shout out, a little bit of love to former coworker of mine, Lawrence Holmes. He got his own podcast started, The House of L. I know you talked with him a few weeks ago about the logistics and whatnot and
Yeah.
setup of things. So he had Jason Benetti, White Sox broadcaster, on his first episode. Just recorded the second episode this week, and part 1 of episode 2 came out, and it's Jason Goff and Lawrence Holmes. I listened to that. I woke up the other night like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I could not go back to sleep, and so I listened to the first part of episode 2. Great stuff.
Yeah.
And they get right up to the point where Jason left the score, was forced out at the score this second time around after leaving. And so I'm dying to hear the second part of it. So check out The House of L.
Yeah, it
too.
was smart to split it up into 2.
Yeah, really. Well, he wanted to do it because he's smart. He like hour-long episodes, and he wanted to make it, as he said in his episode, it was about for a person's commute. He wanted to be able to listen to a whole podcast in your commute. We want you to listen to like our podcast on like 3 different commutes. That's what we go a little, and I guess it depends how long your commute is.
Actually,
if you go 15 minutes, you're going to be listening for 2 weeks.
Well, we've been good about it lately, but today's episode you can listen to on a flight to Europe.
But if you're going to Germany sometime soon, download this podcast and bring it on the plane with you. Well, it was the first segment with Bourdain. There was a lot to get into, and that's going to be a great segment. But yeah, so check out House of L, and then you can download this podcast, the AFD show, anywhere it's available. I mean, anywhere. Name something, and you got it. We're right there. So we're everywhere now. That's all Jason's work. Good job on that. Big thanks to Will's Northwoods Inn. They bring us That's So Wisconsin. They're at willsnorthwoodsin.com. Add a little bit of God's country in the heart of South Lakeview. Also, big thanks to our sponsor, Mickey Finn's, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in beautiful and historic downtown Libertyville. Check them out at mickeyfinnsbrewery.com. If you're available this weekend, Libertyville Days, Thursday night, Modern Day Romeos, I'll be there. Let me know. You can get me on the Twitter handle at AFDE Show. You can get us on Facebook.com at AFDE Show, and also continue to email Jason at afdeshow@gmail.com. I know hundreds came through during the recording of this podcast alone. No animals were hurt during the taking of those emails as well. Remember, life is short. Be kind to those you love. Be kind to strangers. You never know the impact and the potential good you could do to a stranger with some kind words. Be good to each other. Love one another. Thank you on behalf of Jason, myself, Mickey Finns, and Will's Northwoods Inn. This is the AFDE Show, episode 39, Tickle Pants in the books.